Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. A shooting suspect in a El Paso Walmart shooting is in state court. We'll have more on what his defense is asking for. Plus, Victoria County Elections Office officials are ensuring that every voter can cast a ballot this election day. And police officers saved 2 children from a house fire in a heroic rescue, and it's caught on camera.
Well, with Francine long gone from Texas, we're looking at a very nice weekend, clear sailing as we get into the weekend. A little bit warmer, but I don't think you're going to complain too much. We'll have all your weather coming up in just a moment.
Plus, North Texas schools are seeing an increase in police patrols over social media threats. You're watching 25 News now at 5. And good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. Well, 2 Victoria students arrested today facing charges for making a threat of school violence. Just before 12:30 this afternoon, school resource officers at Victoria West High School were notified by school staff that 17-year-old Brennan Gray made a threat to other students that he was going to commit a crime with a weapon. Then he left campus. Deputies found Gray at his residence in the county, and after questioning him, he was arrested and taken to the Victoria County Jail. Now he's in the jail due to his age, as well as why his name is released. Gray was charged with making a terroristic threat. And within minutes of that, the SRO at Cade Middle School also received information that an 11-year-old male student there made threats involving a weapon towards students and staff. He allegedly sent this through the Chromebook messaging system. The SRO immediately detained the student, and after investigation, the student was arrested and taken to the Victoria County Juvenile Detention Center, charged with terroristic threat. Officials say the 2 cases are unrelated, and no weapons were found on the students or campuses in either incident. Well, a number of school districts here and across the country have called for added patrols near campuses because of a surge of these social media posts threatening violence. None of the threats have been deemed credible, but Steve Pickett has more from North Texas.
This is all through the early morning hours, all the way to midnight.
Dallas ISD Police Chief Albin Martinez with a long list of social media postings threatening violence for schools.
What we're seeing really is let's say a picture of a gun, right? And they're saying they're going to shoot up the school.
For every Dallas high school today, students saw this: added police presence on or near campuses. In Fort Worth, the district's Wedgwood Middle School, also with assigned officers. Online threats of school violence spread from Waxahachie to Kemp and other districts as well. None are deemed credible, but districts took added safety measures anyway. In Dallas, the football rivalry match between Lincoln and Madison high schools is scheduled for tomorrow. DISD has now moved it to Saturday morning, pointing to not only online threats of violence, but the deadly violence from last Friday, when a 17-year-old was shot and killed after a football game at Kincaid Stadium.
So some of these threats, really, if we go back to Friday at the murder, the shooting that we had at the Love's Truck Stop next to our Kincaid Stadium, it has spurred from that.
And this brings us to our viewer poll today. So should parents be held responsible if their child is involved in a school shooting or some sort of threat, yes or no? And right now, overwhelmingly 87% of you believe that the parents should be held responsible in some way if a child is to make a threat against a school. But we want to hear from you. Come to our website, crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results on 25 News Now at 6. Well, the Victoria County Elections Office wants to be sure everyone in Victoria County has the opportunity to vote this election day. On Tuesday, they will be part of a 50-state effort to register voters before November. They will have registration drives at Victoria College, the University of Houston, Victoria, the Victoria Public Library, as well as the Elections Office. The deadline to register to vote for the November 5th election is October 7th. For more information about National Voter Registration Day in Victoria County or specific information regarding the November 5th general election, including sample ballots and Election Day polling centers. Visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. Well, a Good Samaritan steps in to save a man as his truck was sinking into the floodwaters of Hurricane Francine. Miles Crawford used a hammer to break out the window of the stranded driver's truck before pulling the driver through the broken window and carrying him to safety. This drama played out live on air as a reporter from the NBC affiliate in New Orleans was reporting on the storm. Crawford, who is an ER nurse, says life and death situations like this are all part of the job and says his actions were nothing out of the ordinary.
And I went and checked it out, and then saw that there was a guy in there and the water was steadily rising. So seeing if I could find anything to break the window. And so I ran back to my house, grabbed a hammer, ran back, and just went in there and got him.
Well, Francine made landfall in Louisiana yesterday as a Category 2 hurricane. 14 million people remain under flood warnings with heavy rain and possible tornadoes expected through tomorrow. Well, the storm has since been downgraded, and we've really been in the clear here in the Crossroads as the storm has gone through the Louisiana area. So we're going to take a look at our forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Really amazing. We had a hurricane 250 miles off the coast. For us, nothing. And you saw, of course, that video of all the rain that's occurring in the Central Plains right about now, really the mid-Mississippi Valley. The storm is actually over Memphis right about now, so they're getting quite a bit of rain there, and they're going to continue. But as I mentioned yesterday, they're happy. They needed the rain into the Mississippi River. We've got a couple of other tropical systems to talk about. We'll have that and your weekend forecast in just a moment. Back to you, Shawna.
All right, thanks, Mac. Well, 2 police officers are being credited for their heroic actions, saving 2 young children from a house fire. Take a look at this. Officers in Vidor, Texas, responded to a house fire and found it nearly engulfed. A woman reported that her 2 children were inside. So officers Michael Stevenson and Ashton Moss quickly acted, removing a window air conditioner unit to rescue the 9 and 11-year-old boys. Fire crews arrived moments later as flames burst from the window. The children were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation, but they are expected to be fine. The gunman accused of a 2019 mass shooting at a Walmart in El Paso appeared in court today. This is Patrick Crusius's first time in state court since his arraignment in 2019. He's accused of killing 23 people when he opened fire inside a Walmart. Crusius's attorneys filed a motion to dismiss the charges or remove the death penalty. They argue the El Paso District Attorney's Office had improper contact with witnesses, violated a gag order, and suppressed evidence. Crusius has already been sentenced to 90 consecutive life terms in federal prison after pleading guilty to hate crimes and weapons charges in the case. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, crossroadstoday.com. Click the like button and the notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever we upload new content. Well, stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News now at 5. The Trump-Harris debate shattered viewing numbers for this year's campaign season. Also ahead, the U.S. Attorney General says the Justice Department will not bend to political pressure. Strong viewership for the Trump-Harris presidential debate this week, with 67.1 million people tuning in. That's according to the Nielsen ratings. This is up from 51.3 million who watched the Biden-Trump debate back in June. Of the viewers, 6.4 million were ages 18 to 34, 16.8 million were 35 to 54, and more than 41.3 million were 55 and older. However, this audience size is still below the 84 million who watched the 2016 debate between Trump and Hillary Clinton. And former President Donald Trump does not want another face-off against Vice President Kamala Harris. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote in all capital letters, quote, "There will be no third debate." Shortly after the Trump-Harris debate was over earlier this week, the Harris team called for a rematch. Harris said that she and Trump, quote, "owe it to the viewers to have another debate." But Trump, at least for now, is not interested in that. Both candidates are back on the campaign trail, Harris in North Carolina, Trump in Arizona. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland is slamming attacks on the Justice Department. He made comments during a fiery speech to staff and U.S. attorneys across the country. Garland decried conspiracy theories, falsehoods, and efforts to bully and intimidate Department of Justice employees. He also thanked prosecutors and staff for refusing to bend to politics or break under pressure.
Through your work, you have made clear that the Justice Department will not be intimidated by these attacks. But it is dangerous and outrageous that you have to endure them. It is dangerous to target and intimidate individual employees of this department solely for doing their jobs. And it is outrageous that you have to face these unfounded attacks because you are doing what is right and upholding the rule of law.
Garland's comments come after former President Trump suggested he would politicize and dismantle the DOJ if he returned to office. Trump has repeatedly attacked the Justice Department, claiming he was being targeted for political purposes. And a New York appeals court rejected former President Trump's team's attempts to lift a gag order, which bars him from publicly discussing specific prosecutors, court staff, or their families. Judge Juan Merchan had previously lifted some restrictions back in June. Trump was convicted of falsifying business records related to hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. Sentencing has been postponed until late November. The former president of Peru has died at 86. Sentenced to 25 years for human rights abuses and corruption, Alberto Fujimori's health worsened over time. He was pardoned in 2017, then that pardon overturned in 2018. Fujimori was a divisive figure credited by some for stabilizing Peru, but faced heavy criticism for authoritarian practices. After resigning in 2000, he lived in Japan, but was later controversially pardoned and released from prison in late 2023. It's the second leading cause of death for young people between the ages of 10 and 34, according to the CDC. But suicide can affect people of all ages and backgrounds. And new research suggests economic and social conditions may be a contributing factor. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the report and explains what can be done to help prevent youth suicides.
It's a serious public health problem. In the latest data, the CDC says suicide was responsible for the deaths of more than 49,000 people in 2022.
It's a largely preventable form of death, so we have a lot of opportunity to reduce those numbers, but they are high.
A new CDC report is providing more evidence that social and economic conditions play a significant role in efforts to prevent suicide. Researchers found suicide rates in 2022 were 26% lower in counties with the highest health insurance coverage, 44% lower in counties where most homes have broadband internet access, and 13% lower in counties with the most household income.
Increased access to healthcare, and especially mental health care, and making that affordable is something that matters a lot.
Dr. John Ackerman with Nationwide Children's Hospital says communities need to play a role in suicide prevention, and so do parents. He says to talk to children about suicide.
It's been shown that we don't increase the risk of suicide when we ask a question like, have you ever thought about ending your life? Or have you had kids in your classroom that are struggling with harming themselves or saying that they don't want to be alive.
Ackerman says it's also important to safely store unsafe objects in the home, including medication and firearms, and make sure children get involved in things they care about.
They're fostering opportunities to grow and learn and make connections, and that they know that they're not alone.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wants the Texas Senate to re-examine how the state conducts runoff elections and recommend new laws aimed at stopping protesters from covering their faces when the legislature meets next year. You can read this full Texas Tribune article by coming to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, things are looking pretty good for us. We're looking at, of course, 94 degrees right now, a little bit warmer, and you probably saw that low cloud cover that came in with the fog this morning. That's our high as of today, and tomorrow we'll see a little bit more fog rolling in because the humidity is coming back. Still a good looking weekend. We'll talk about that and take a look at all the tropics, east and west, coming up in just a few moments. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're getting a little warmer this weekend, but it's not like that August heat, okay? It's a little bit more reasonable stuff. As you can see right about here, there is Francine up there dropping heavy rain over the mid-Mississippi Valley. Of course, we were on the backside of it, so yesterday got a nice north wind. Actually, in the upper atmosphere, we still have a nice north wind. Let me show you how I know that. As we go to our next graphic, you can see these little pop-up showers that developed late this afternoon. Well, they're going this way, so they're still being influenced by the broad circulation around Francine, but obviously not enough moisture to get excited. We're going to be on the generally dry side for the next couple of days. In fact, for most of next week, there are some showers in the future, but they're little garden variety things that aren't going to really amount to much. Now, there's a couple of areas, one off the southeast coast, another one just off of Puerto Rico, as you see right about there. We also have a new tropical depression way out here in the mid-Atlantic, and another one's coming off, so the west coast of Africa. Now, all of this stuff is still busy because it's still tropical storm season, but once the frontal systems start moving across North America, these things aren't going to have much luck. Now, this is very interesting. We've got a tropical storm that's going to be headed toward Cabo San Lucas, which is right about there. Now, that's the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula, and the concern is there are a lot of people that go down there for vacation. It's a big wedding resort and all that stuff. This is going to go through there, but only as a tropical storm. So it's not going to be a hurricane. It's going to be, you know, shall we say, a rough couple of days, but that moisture will be caught up into the western deserts of northern Mexico, and what that does, as you can see right here, it streams that cloud cover over into Texas. So some of that will maybe be affecting far western part of the state, including the Panhandle. As we go forward, we go from Friday. There's going to be your Friday afternoon. Still a beautiful day. Let me get on this side so you can see what's happening with that system. We go from that into Saturday, and you can see the cloud cover already streaming up on top of the state of Texas. Of course, the storm itself is not going to cross. It's too much mountain area out there, but as it falls apart, the remnants over the weekend may be giving us an interesting couple of days of cloud cover. A couple of little fronts are trying to get organized as we get into Sunday and Monday. They're not really going to make it here, but as you can see, the rain is going to be associated with Francine up here, little bit in North Texas. We go all the way into the weekend. That's where they get it. And of course, that's the heavy rain associated with that system out in the Pacific coast. So for you and me, we're looking good, looking partly cloudy, high of about 92, a little bit more humidity in the air. Still not bad looking. Sunny skies getting up to about a 95 in Cuero tomorrow, Friday. But then once the sun goes down, it's going to be gorgeous for football Friday night, right? All right. So Friday's looking good with a 96. Looking good for the weekend, but you'll feel a little bit more humidity. And then we pick up a little garden variety possible afternoon shower activity for the early part of next week. That's your Sunday forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Shawna.
All right, thanks a lot, Mac. Well, coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at how stocks did today. Plus, a grocery store chain is raising wages and expanding benefits. We'll have the details. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow finished up 177 points, the S&P 500 up 43 points, and the NASDAQ up 201 points. Oil finished up $1.88, closing at $69.19 per barrel. Grocery store chain Aldi is raising its starting pay to $18 an hour for store employees and $23 an hour for warehouse workers. Workers who clock at least 30 hours a week will also receive health insurance and paid time off. Aldi is hiring more than 13,000 employees for new store openings and the holiday season. The company also offers flexible scheduling and fully paid parental and caregiver leave, introduced in response to employee feedback last year. The McDonald's $5 meal is here to stay, at least for a while. The fast food chain announced Thursday that the popular promotion will extend into December at most locations. An extension was an easy decision, according to the company, as McDonald's saw its value on the stock market trend upward this summer. The meal deal offers a sandwich, fries, nuggets, and a drink for $5. McDonald's, Burger King, and other chains have debuted similar promotions as customers cut back on spending in 2024. About 80% of franchise owners have voted to adopt this extension, and that voting is still ongoing, so additional locations may be added in the weeks to come. Mortgage rates are dropping as summer ends. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 6.2% for the week ending Friday, the lowest since February. Analysts attribute the decline to slowing inflation and a weaker job market, which might lead the Federal Reserve to cut rates for the first time in 4 years. Although the Fed doesn't set mortgage rates directly, its actions affect bond yields. The next Fed meeting is on Tuesday. Well, stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, Taylor Swift dominates MTV VMAs with multiple wins. Katy Perry and Megan Thee Stallion shine. And we'll take a look at the other winners. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on World News Tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, we have breaking news. The hurricane that hit the U.S., massive destruction. The earthquake hitting California. The images tonight from Los Angeles, the aftershocks there, and the scare on the runway, the passenger plane slamming on the brakes to avoid another plane at 120 miles an hour. Next.
Welcome back. Well, at MTV's 40th Annual Video Music Awards, Taylor Swift had a standout night, winning Artist of the Year, Best Pop Artist and Video of the Year for Fortnite with Post Malone. The video also won Best Collaboration, Direction, and Editing. Katy Perry performed a medley of hits and received the Video Vanguard Award. Megan Thee Stallion, who hosted the awards, won Best Art Direction for Boa. And Chappell Rowan took home Best New Artist. Seeing the success of Taylor's tour, it doesn't surprise me that she
at all.
took
It
so
had to
many
be.
awards.
I think, what did she make? $2 billion or something like that?
I don't know.
But has anyone told Megan Thee Stallion that a stallion is a boy? Nobody's told her. I guess not.
Maybe you can tell her.
No, I don't know anyone at that altitude. Anyway, folks, we've got a pretty good looking couple of days coming up. You'll feel a little bit more humidity in the air. It'll be in the 90s, but it's not that August heat. It's just, good old fashioned September. Early next week, we'll pick up a few little sprinkles, but no significant weather coming in through the next 7 days.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you back here for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.